Welcome to OtakusandGeeks.com. Justin here, back with more video game reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing CryMachina. This footage that you see here and all gameplay footage is from my Nintendo Switch Lite, so this is a Switch review. Without further ado, here's a brief synopsis of the story. In a world where humans were extinct thousands of years ago, synthetic beings known as Deus Ex Machina have been tasked to bring mankind back. Join three E.V.E. to recreate psyche of deceased humans instilled in synthetic bodies, as they seek their full-fledged humanity and explore Eden to discover the secrets hidden within. And just a quick overview of the story. It's a really solid story, very emotional too, of what it means truthfully to be human. We have a character, Leben, who just really hates humans. She hates humans and she's reborn into the synthetic body. And the way they do the characters and the characterization of our main three leads is really good. The story is going to get you hooked and make you keep playing. It is a very solid emotional story, and if you're heavy on sci-fi, they bring a lot of sci-fi elements and they do a really great job of world building and giving you pacing. But when it comes to the gameplay, well, that is where we have to get a little bit of more of a disappointing side, because the game, while enjoyable, it feels more like a visual novel with action set pieces, and the way the game is divided is heavy on story. And since it's so heavy on story, you feel, and I feel, and if you look at other reviewers, the gameplay gets a little bit of the back burner. That doesn't mean that the game is bad. That doesn't mean that the action in the game is bad at all. It's not. It's actually a fun game to play, but I just wish there was more to it, because after the first hour, the gameplay formula gets a little bit. You know what the game's gonna offer you. First off, you go to, it's divided into a couple of sections. So you have your missions that you get set up, but right after you're finishing a mission, you go to this mandatory section in the game, which is called Tea Parties, where you get so much exposition and backstory on the characters that sometimes that takes a little bit of time, because sometimes those storylines could go from 2 to 4 to 5 minutes. And it's a whole bunch that you have to watch, and then you have the optional ones if you really want to get to the world building. But when it comes to the action and the gameplay plays very well. The action I really did enjoy as well. It is a classic style action RPG beat 'em up. Your girls are tasked with various weapons, various tools, and you're able to upgrade them. Now, when it comes to the upgrade system, this is where I feel like it's a miss, because you have share points, and it's something I hate when RPGs do this. When you're upgrading your player, you have to be careful of how you disperse your points, because all your three players share the same points, and there's certain missions in the game that you can only use certain players. So if you don't use, let's say, Leben for one mission, and she has another mission that's just as hard, if you don't upgrade her, you have to go back to previous missions and grind. That way you can disperse points. I guess they probably did that to keep the more longevity, but it gets annoying having to replay levels, because everyone has to share the same share tree points, and it gets a little bit difficult, because you don't know as a player who level you're gonna do, or what's the next level, or oh man, I have to go back and do that. Graphically though, the graphics on my Switch Lite had no frame rate issues. I thought it looks really good. It's 720p, and it looks really good. The graphics are gorgeous. It has some really nice bright colors. The character designs and cutscenes fit very well. No voice syncing issues either. I'll get into the sound in a bit, but the graphics look good. It ran very well. It's just that the gameplay is kind of disappointing because of how limited it could be. You have a whole bunch of story, but because the story is so good, you're going to keep playing. But I just wish that it wasn't in this type of form. Like, okay, we're going to a quick mission. The mission could probably take me 8 to 10 minutes tops, and then it's a whole bunch of tea party, a whole bunch of exposition and story, and then right back, rinse and repeat to the next mission. You do have optional missions to do that you can find in code. The upgrading is pretty cool as well, but like I said, sharing points, not so much. So let's talk about the sound.
私たちを探知してやってきた敵対勢力の一軍だよ。いきなりボスラッシュとかクソ系じゃん。大丈夫。私たちが戦う必要はなさそうだから。どうして？ どうしてかはわからないけど、エクレシアの本当が焼きった敵対勢力に見えた。
Sound is where the game really shines as well. The voice acting is stellar, especially when it comes to these emotional beats and the characters, especially when they have their moments when they're talking about their tragic past or they're talking about this debate of what it means to be human. That's where the characters in really shines, and especially with Makoto and Lebanon and the way they interact. You're really gonna feel that emotion in that performance. The music is really good as well. It gives you a really nice sci-fi, cyberpunk type of feel, and I thought a really good job of catching that tone and really making the players feel engaged. So I really had no issues with the sound and the sound clippings or anything. That I think the sound and the performances were right on point. So I'm going to give my final thoughts on CryMachina. I'm going to give this game a C plus, which I am disappointed because this is one of the games I was looking very forward to, but I didn't expect it to be so story narrative driven, which is not a bad thing, but it felt, like I said, more like a visual novel than an actual action RPG. And the fact that we have to disperse and share our level up points with 3 other characters and you not knowing to know which ones to really choose, it kind of hampered the enjoyment a little bit of that. But overall, it's still a solid game. The action and the gameplay mechanics is good as well, but there's no real progression after a certain point. Like, you're gonna learn all the attacks that you need to know. Boss fights are fun, and if you play it on the hardest level, it does give you a challenge. But the challenge is actually knowing when to level up your players. I do like the control scheme. I do like the way we have the power ups and the way we're able to have multiple attacks. It does keep things fresh, but it's heavy on story. So if you're not someone who wants something that's heavy on story, you might want to wait for a sale for this one. This is Justin from Otaku saying, ladies, I'll catch you on the next one.